I'm sure a lot of you have already noticed this, but Louis Vuitton seems to be in overdrive mode lately. So if you've been on Instagram and TikTok, you've probably seen every influencer and their cousin suddenly sporting the new Louis Vuitton Neverfull tote. I'm talking high energy campaigns, lots and lots of posts, and captions like obsessed with the new Louis Vuitton Neverfull. But let's be real, what is all this hype about? And is Louis Vuitton scrambling to keep up with Goyard? That's what we're going to be talking about today. I thought we would do a little deep dive into this topic because I have seen so many people talk about this new bag, but nobody seems to be talking about the new launch, the way they decided to do this campaign, and what might be the reasoning for it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to go over the history of Goyard a little bit. We're going to go over the history of Louis Vuitton a little bit, and we're going to talk about this influencer campaign and this whole like marketing strategy. Also, I've recently done a video where I talked about luxury brands being almost as bad as Shein or no better than Shein. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave it linked down below. Also, if you want more detailed videos on the history of Goyard and Louis Vuitton, I'll find some videos and leave those linked down below as well. So I'm sure that everyone who clicked on this video already knows like the basic information about Louis Vuitton and the Neverfull bag, but I'm just gonna go over it just in case. So Louis Vuitton has a bag called the Neverfull. It's a tote bag, coated canvas, comes, I wanna say, in 3 different sizes. And it also has a little pouch on the inside, really good for like travel, work, day-to-day things, right? Just like a really good everyday bag, but depending on what size you get, you can also travel with it and stuff like that. I have one. Most of you probably also know that if you know me and if you know this channel. If not, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Hit that subscribe button down below and, you know, join me here on this channel. But anyways, so yeah, that is the bag. It's been really popular for a really long time, and it's also gotten like a lot of hate throughout the years. So many influencers have made videos about this bag being basic, this bag being, you know, not cool, this bag just being shitty, you know, all of the things. And while I also think that it's a pretty basic bag, I've always said that I do think it's a pretty practical bag. And if you love the brand, then, you know, that's a bag that you're probably going to like. Now, this is really important, so keep a mental note of this. You know, lots of influencers have come out throughout the year saying that it's a basic bag and they don't really love it. So fast forward to now, Louis Vuitton has decided to release a new version of this bag, a new revamped version. So this version can be worn inside out, so it's reversible. And then it also has a thicker strap, I believe, that will make it more comfortable to carry. I saw a few pictures of it. Honestly, not a fan of the thick strap, not a fan of it being reversible, but you know, that could just be me. Now, I want to talk about the way that they decided to launch this new bag release and the way they went about this entire campaign. Now, typically, you would probably see a brand like Louis Vuitton, so a big luxury brand, send out a few bags, maybe to some really big celebrities. I don't know, Kim Kardashian, Jennifer Aniston, you know, people like that. And we would maybe see those people photographed with that bag. Now, it is 2024, and a lot of companies and brands do go the route of influencer marketing and influencer marketing campaigns, rightfully so, because a lot of these influencers have a really supportive big audience behind the screen that will almost buy anything they put in front of the camera. Sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because it is a good thing for the influencer because they're making a crazy amount of money that you probably can't even imagine. You know, brands have a really big budget when it comes to marketing. They have a really big budget when it comes to things like campaign and launching new releases. So, you know, these influencers are making a lot of money from that.
You see that button at the bottom that says paid partnership. So unfortunately, there's a huge epidemic on TikTok where these laws are being completely circumvented and they're a little bit hard to enforce. But regardless, it kind of needs to be called out because if we go back to that video that she posted, you can see in the very tippy top right corner in microscopic lettering, literally the smallest text size that TikTok would physically allow somebody to do, it says Kiehl's partner. So what this means is she was paid in exchange for posting a video. And this is just one small example. There are tons of people that do this. The most notorious one would probably be Michaela Nogueira. She is the queen of not disclosing her partnerships and her brand affiliations. But in using this as an example, I think it's a really good one, because ask yourselves, why are they putting it in tiny lettering? Because it's all about conversions. How many clicks are they getting? How many people are actually seeing that ad and buying the product? Because that is what brands use to evaluate whether or not they want to work with an influencer again. And influencers and brands, and you all know that when you see something that is clearly an ad, you just scroll by it. So the reason why this is such a huge problem, regardless of the fact that it's actually illegal and you can get fined for it, and I've seen it happen time and time again, and realistically, when you have an audience of 10, 20, 30 million people following you, that should come with some sense of morality and some sense of responsibility to your audience that does trust you.
But then I think it can be bad, because a lot of the times people see money and they don't think about anything else, and then they'll lie to you and sell you something that's really not that great, and then you go out and buy it with your hard-earned money. So that's where, you know, the struggle kind of comes in. Now, I have, you know, worked with brands before, I've promoted things before, but regardless of the money, and I'm a smaller account, you know, but regardless of the money, I always try to stick with things that I would actually buy myself. But, you know, that is the trickiness of influencer marketing. Yet again, it's 2024, so a lot of brands decide to go that route. I do think that it's rather strange that a brand like Louis Vuitton would go that route though, right? Because they're already so big, they're already so established, they're a luxury brand. I don't know why, it just seems a bit weird that they would send out their bag for free and possibly even pay so many influencers to promote this bag.
Hands down, the craziest package I've ever gotten in my life. Okay? Hello? Mademoiselle Ashley Lamarca. I can't, I am speechless right now. Dear Ashley, we are delighted to share with you our new Neverfull Inside Out. We hope you enjoy your versatile new companion. Your friends at Louis Vuitton. Your friends at Louis Vuitton. The box. This is crazy. Someone pinch me, please. Shut up. Absolutely shut up. Wait, I'm actually like gonna cry right now. I've never had a Louis Vuitton bag. What the heck? Sorry, just like freaking out. Literally a pillow inside. The monogram inside. The Neverfull was always the most classic, timeless bag. If you thought for a second they were out, they'll always find their way back in. The whole point of this bag is that you can turn it inside out. I feel like, can you tell I'm a first timer? Just like that, you have a whole new bag. What is going on? I'm just truly at a loss of words. I couldn't be more grateful for you guys and this platform, and thank you, Louis Vuitton. This is an absolute dream right now. I love you all so much, and stay tuned for a million photos and videos. Love you guys.
I found an article that I actually want to read to you guys, and I found it to be very interesting. So it says, data suggests Louis Vuitton's TikToker campaign for its Neverfull bag drove more success than its celebrity launch. Louis Vuitton's influencer gifting activation for its Neverfull Inside Out bag is driving views and brand awareness. But is it enough to secure a sales boost? LVMH, which owns Louis Vuitton, recently reported its Q3 sales were down 5% within its fashion and leather goods division. It was previously expected to have 4% growth for this category, and this is the company's worst quarterly result since 2020. Now, Louis Vuitton is under pressure to reposition itself as the cool go-to handbag brand for Gen Z and millennials. So it released a reinvention of its iconic tote bag, the Neverfull. It continues to say that alongside Sophie Turner, the brand began gifting bags to popular global influencers. And then they just listed off a bunch of names, which I'm not going to go into. As the influencer activation began rolling out, Google searches for the Neverfull and the Louis Vuitton Neverfull peaked in the past week, both in the UK and worldwide.
I am very, very lucky because I have a gift from LV. So I thought I would open it with you guys to see what it is. And let's have a look. I'm so excited to see. It is the new Neverfull from LV. It has black on the inside. This bag actually takes me back because I had the old version when I first had Aston, and I just have such good memories with this style bag. This size is smaller than the size that I used to have. I actually think this size is more versatile probably because it's not too big, but I can still fit a lot in it. What else does it come with? Oh my God, this pouch is so cute. Good size. Little LV on the inside as well. I'm really into the LV logo at the moment. And I think like with the touch of the black, I just think it's like really nice. It almost feels a little bit more elevated and a little bit more dressy as well than the old version. Also I think it might be reversible. So let's have a look. The fact that you can convert this one into a black tote is just amazing because I just always need a black tote in my...
Now remember that years ago, people were saying that the Neverfull is shit, it's basic.
What's going on over at Louis Vuitton with this Neverfull bag strategy? If you're not familiar, the Neverfull is one of Louis Vuitton's opening price point, like entry-level bags. It's a very popular tote. And last year they said they were going to discontinue it. Why would they discontinue one of their more popular bags, particularly at a time when luxury brands are not doing so well? Well, some of the other luxury brands that are doing well are pursuing a more elevated and like scarcity model. And I guess the thought process was let's make this item scarce and let's elevate the perception of the brand. And then on Friday and over the weekend, suddenly, I don't know if you saw like all of the go-to fashion influencers doing a mass unboxing of the Neverfull. And this kind of unboxing strategy, like every single part about it was anything but elevated. Even including this very cute bag, which a lot of the influencers were like pointing out how great it is. This kind of artwork on a bag from an art licensing perspective is what we call like novelty conversational art, like the stripes with the stamps. Making it reversible to like a plain black leather tote and then using this pouch with all the stripes just doesn't feel elevated or special at all. And we know Tanya Sarin is also not going to be wearing this bag. The comment section on this influencer's post pretty much says it all. Somebody said, reverse to the black one, looks like it's Michael Kors. This influencer was going on and on about how it was reversible to the black one, and a lot of people pointed out, I thought they were always reversible. Somebody said, Coach, do a bag like this too. Somebody else says, why has everyone on my For You page been gifted this? And then again, somebody pointed out, Coach does a bag just like this in case anyone wants something more affordable. And here's the thing, Louis Vuitton, if you wanted to re-release the Neverfull and make it elevated and make it super special, why don't you look at some of the trends like this massive Bottega Veneta and suede? You could have absolutely done a Neverfull version of this. Also a collab, like remember this Sofia Coppola collab and these suede oversized speedy bags? To say that I was obsessed with a Sofia Coppola Louis Vuitton collab is an understatement, and this would have been such a great idea for the Neverfull. Even a more elevated content approach with these mood boards and flat lays, there's so many good creators that are doing this. Like the Millennial Decorator who was on a brand trip with Cartier last week, and that would be a very good model to follow for Louis Vuitton. Even having creators like me talk about the history of collaborations at Louis Vuitton and kind of reintroducing a new Neverfull with a collab, that would be a great idea to kind of elevate and actually change the perception that people have of the bag. This whole campaign just felt very dated and very rushed, which is probably the reason why they pulled the bag in the first place.
Anytime somebody gets gifted something, they kind of have a little different opinion on the product, regardless of what it is, and that is because they didn't pay for it. I think that you can always appreciate something a little different if you didn't pay for it versus if you did. You know, if I spend $2,000 on a bag and I really don't like, for example, that the strap is uncomfortable, or a shoe that is uncomfortable that I spent $600 on, I'm probably more likely to tell you guys like, hey, this sucks. I spent $600 on it and it's giving me a blister, or it's like cutting into my shoulder. But if I didn't spend any money on it, I'm like, okay, it cuts on my shoulder a little bit, like no big deal. Does that make sense? So yeah, I think that's definitely, you know, one of the issues. Now let's talk about the Goyard tote. So the Goyard tote, it also has been around for many, many years, but this bag has been all the rage. It has been the new it bag when it comes to tote bags, right? Everyone and their mother is wearing it now. It is very, very popular. I was recently in New York, and you know, places like New York City and Chicago, bigger cities like that, I think it's really easy to see what's trending because you see a lot of people, or you will see a lot of people wearing some of the same items. Now, I have seen more Goyards on my recent trip to New York than I've seen Neverfulls. And, you know, I've been to places like New York and Chicago many, many times, and the Neverfull is typically a bag you will see everywhere. But on my recent trip, it was really evident how many Goyard totes there were and how many people were wearing Goyard totes. All right, so let's quickly talk about the history of Goyard because I do think that it is really important. So Goyard was founded back in 1792, which, oh my God, you guys, that seems so long ago. So originally they were known for box making and trunk services, and they quickly caught the eye of, you know, many, many people. They were the go-to for chic luggage when traveling. And fast forward to 1834 when they relocated to Rue Saint Honore. I'm probably butchering that. I'm so sorry if I do. Fast forward to 1845 and you've got François Goyard stepping in as an apprentice and eventually taking over. Then in 1892, his son Edmond introduced the new famous Goyardine canvas with its iconic chevron pattern. So talk about family legacy. So another thing that I want to talk about with Goyard is exclusivity. Now, they limit their customers to, I think, about 4 accessories per year to maintain exclusivity. And Goyard also produces a limited number of bags each year, which increases the value and appeal. I think that this is fantastic for a number of reasons. I love something, now, not as bad as like Hermes, yeah, because their bags are like ridiculous to get. But like, I love that I have to work a little bit to get one of these bags. Actually, interesting because I was looking into buying a Goyard tote, and like, there's no boutique near me anywhere. So I had to go to Bergdorf in New York, which, you know, was pretty interesting because I went into Bergdorf and the Goyard counter was literally like there were people wrapped around the corner to look at their tote. And some of the other luxury brands inside Bergdorf, you know, crickets. There weren't really many people looking at other bags, which I thought was really interesting and all telling. Like, this bag is super popular. Now it's been popular for many years. So let's fast forward to the 21st century, and here we are. So Louis Vuitton launched the Neverfull tote in 2007 to compete with Goyard's St. Louis bag, which was originally designed in the 1930s. Talk about an age gap, you guys. But here's the kicker. Goyard has been making a serious comeback in the recent months. Their tote bags have been flying off the shelves, and people are saying that it is the new it bag, and it really, really is. Like, even here in Columbus, I see people with this bag literally everywhere. And I mean, who doesn't want to strut around with a tote that particularly yells exclusivity? And I think that that is the big difference between the two bags. I think that Goyard positioned itself as a brand to be more exclusive, to appeal more to people that, you know, maybe aren't younger, maybe people that aren't just following trends, maybe people that are, you know, in it for just for the luxury, just for the brand. And I think that can be a good thing because, you know, trends come and go. And I do think another thing that is a little problematic with the new Neverfull bag is that the way that they launched it now, to me, makes it trendy, right? So soon nobody will talk about it. And I talked about that in another video that I did, where kind of how fashion works and how trends work. Like, if something peaks really quickly, like, and everyone talks about it, you can almost guarantee that there will be a very, very, very quick and sharp decline. With Goyard gaining this momentum, is Louis Vuitton starting to sweat a little? You know, that is the question. And given the way they released a new version of the Neverfull and the way they did this campaign, I will say that that might be a possibility. Now, let me read some more to you from this article that I read at the beginning. So it says, the fashion house had one goal: gifting bags to influencers in order to drive buzz and boost sales. So far, it's worked. Users are engaging with creators, unboxing videos, and discussing the brand's marketing strategy. More significantly, those who own the original Neverfull are now dusting off their purses because the style is seen as relevant and trendy once again. The key takeaway from Louis Vuitton influencer activation is influencers drive success, not traditional celebrity ambassadorships. Its campaign with Turner didn't generate interest at all, but the influencer content has sparked a conversation and is introducing the bag to a new generation. So we all know this. I mean, you know, like I said, everything is influencer marketing right now. But I think there are a few of us who probably feel like this is a bit weird. I want to read a couple of comments to you guys because people are literally talking about this everywhere. So someone said, Goyard is very popular in certain parts of the world, and there are fake St. Louis totes for sale all over the internet, to the point that I won't buy one because everyone will assume it's fake. To me, it is the basic European boarding school girl tote, or the bag lots of European older women carry as their elevated errand bag. And I feel like, reading this comment, I feel like you can say the same for Louis Vuitton. So, you know, it might just come down to personal preference, honestly. Another comment said, they're both very loud and appeal to the same kind of person. That's not even necessarily a bad thing. But to somebody who isn't drawn to either bag, they're the two sides of the same coated canvas coin. Also very interesting. There's really mixed opinions about people if they like this bag or if they don't, but a lot of people are saying, well, it's technically like you're getting two bags because it is reversible. Again, that's just personal preference. But like I said, I'm not here too much to talk about the bag and if it's great or ugly or whatever. I'm more so here to talk about, you know, Louis Vuitton and this influencer campaign and why they decided to, you know, do a new version of the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. So I really think that their recent release of the new version of the Neverfull seems to suggest exactly that they might be feeling the heat a little bit. And it's almost like they're saying, hey, don't forget about us. We're still the big brand here too. You know, but is it working or does it just come off as a bit desperate? That is the question of today's video. I personally think it comes off a bit desperate. I wish they wouldn't have done like this newer version, but you know, again, it's going to come down to personal preference. But yeah, I wish they wouldn't have done that. And I wish they wouldn't have, like, I don't know, like send it out to so many influencers. It really just like leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I really can't explain why, but I know there's so many people that like feel the same way. So anyways, what is the takeaway from today's video? So Goyard is making waves with their classic designs that influencers naturally love, while Louis Vuitton appears to be throwing Hail Mary with their new Neverfull. But does it signal a desperate attempt to keep up with the brand that's quickly becoming a favorite? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.